Hey, this is a quick series on bow and drill tips and tricks. There's a lot of material here, so it may go a little longer than normal, but I'll try to keep it quick. Hope you enjoy it. There's one thing I could recommend for the beginner is to not only pick the correct wood, dry and dead standing and all that jazz, but to pick the ideal wood to start out with. If you start out with the perfect wood, you have a great base to learn from and to judge all other woods from. And yucca stalk is that wood. It's ideal. If you haven't seen the fingernail test, this is what it is. For a nice bow and drill wood, a good test for it is to press your fingernail into it with moderate pressure. If it makes a mark, hope you can see that, then it should work. But that's not the be all end all, because this is cottonwood bark, and you can make a heck of a mark with it with your fingernail, but it doesn't work for bow and drill hearth. It works great for a socket. It kind of shines up, gets shiny. That's one of the indicators that it won't work for a hearth. But anyway, if you're looking for a nice, almost friction-free bearing block, this stuff is great. Okay, along with your yucca hearth as a beginner, you also want to use a yucca drill. This actually isn't yucca. We'll pretend it is. I ran out of drills, so this is box elder. Won't make any difference with this, but for a beginner, yucca on yucca is perfect. A lot of times you hear recommended thickness and lengths of, your bow and your drill and all that stuff. I'm not gonna get into any of that because it's all a matter of preference. The thicker hearth is a lot of times what I use, just because I can reuse that hole a lot of times. A lot of guys have real thin fireboard. There's nothing wrong with that, but just do what you like. The only disadvantage to a thick hearth is if it's harder wood, it's harder to get your notch cut in. I like to somewhat blunt the end that I'm going to be putting in the hearth for more friction, and the other end I like to point like a pencil for two reasons. It causes less friction with a finer point, and it also helps you to, if you lay your drill down, if this point and this point look the same and you've greased your top point, then and you accidentally put it in your hearth, you're not going to get an ember. So it helps you to differentiate between which end is which. A few more things about the drill. If you find that the string is wanting to move up and down your drill as you're bowing, there's two ways to solve that. One is as you're drilling back and forth and your drill drops down, or your bow drops down, point the tip up and it will work its way back up the drill. Same way for if it's moving up, point it down. If that doesn't work, you can always carve a waistline in the drill around the middle of the drill for your string to ride in. Sometimes that causes problems though, because it gets too slick and it wants to slip. Okay, the hearth board. I see guys sometimes they will carve their notch before they mate their drill to their hearth. I do it a different way. To me, that's just asking for trouble. I mate the drill to the board first before I ever carve my notch. Say this is the hole. I make a guideline just shy of center of the hole. I put my knife point in it. I turn it and I mark out. Gives me a scribe line. Then I turn it again the other way, triangle shape, and it marks another scribe line. If you find that your drill is kicking out of your bowstring, there's two problems. One is your bowstring's too tight, or your notch is too big. It's bigger than the drill, and the drill rides and flips out. So always make your notch smaller than your drill. There's one other problem I forgot. Sometimes your drill will kick out because you're drilling sideways. Your drill is not level and it'll want to kick out. That could be either the fact that you're pulling it backwards as you drill, or it could be that your fireboard isn't level and it's wanting to cant one way or the other on you. Stringing the bow, this is a tip that a lot of guys don't tell you about, but it saves some time as a beginner. You get confused on how to string this thing sometimes, but the best way to do it is take the end that you're going to put into the hearth, the drilling end, point it up. Point it up. Take your bow, put your drill in between your bow and your string. Then grab it like such, push forward, and snap it in. That way the drill is on the outside of the string and your drill end is pointing down, the correct end is pointing down. Okay, I'm going to keep everything out of the way so you can see what I'm doing here. This is the end of my bow. I've got it on my drill, and let's say you got a lot of slipping problems. You either need to tighten your string. Sometimes whenever you got a lot of slipping problems, you go to tighten your string, and then you got the opposite problem. It's too tight and it wants to flip out on you. So just get the string to where it wants to somewhat slip. That'll be tight enough. Then as you're drilling, if it starts to slip, take your thumb and your middle finger and just pull in, just like that. I hope you can see that. Just pull the string in. You can even grab it all like this. And you'd be amazed at how that'll stop slipping problems. Another thing that helps slipping problems is sometimes your drill will round off right in the where your string rides. Just square off the edges a little bit. Make it sort of an octagonal shape.